You touched on some of your experience at Red Balloon, obviously taking on the job as CEO 4 months ago. It's one of the country's biggest success stories in the experience economy. So it's definitely, it feels like it was a match made in heaven, something where you and the company were meant to get together. Pretty busy, I expect. How are you finding it?
Pretty busy. It's great. You're right, it combines the three things that I'm passionate about: the experiences side of travel and leisure that we've already spoken about, marketing and technology, and those are the sort of founding principles behind Red Balloon. You know, what the company has done over the year is a matter of record, but it's been an extraordinarily successful company in that it's carved out this particular niche and really about bringing those experiences and waking people up. So my first findings of there is that I've come to a great company that's in great shape, and it's ready for, I think what I'm sort of looking at is the second album, if you like. The first album was very successful. It went out, it's been on the road promoting it, if you like. And this notion of what's the next act? What's the second album? Where do we take Red Balloon? Because we've got a lot of people that have been using us over the years, and we've got a massive connection to 3,000 experiences in this country. How else can we help that develop if we believe in that?
And can I ask, what are your plans? Can you give us kind of any insight into what the future holds for Red Balloon?
We're in the middle of going through those plans and ideas at the moment, but I think there's, how do we shift something that's known as a gift-giving entity into a things-to-do type things? So instead of you sort of buying a gift for somebody to go fencing, or to go whitewater rafting, or to jump out of a balloon, or to go ukulele playing, what happens if you suddenly change that mindset and say it's not actually, it can be a gift, but it can also be for you and for now.
Yeah.
So it's sort of that idea of that I'm going away up to Orange in a couple of weeks' time. What are the key things to do in Orange outside of the normal things? I mean, one of the things that we're not about is being another sort of Expedia, TripAdvisor type entity, because they've got this whole area of pre-trip planning, you know, the airlines, the car hire, the flights, all sorted out. We're about experiences, and not just big experiences. We're about the little tiny experiences, the really highly personal experiences, the sort of passion points I get that people might know about. Because you'd argue fencing, for instance, as we're here now, is not on everybody's top 10 things to do.
Yeah.
But if we showcase fencing, people might say, actually, you know what? That might be kind of fun if I went with a couple of mates and we had a go fencing, you know. So it's about bringing those into profile, because normally there's nowhere else for them to be profiled.
Yeah. What are the most popular experiences?
With Red Balloon at the moment, a lot of the experiences are bought by women for men.
Right.
And as a part of that, they're sort of, a lot of them are very male action
Skydiving, hang gliding.
Skydiving, going around in fast cars around tracks, those kind of things. But we're growing that sort of second tier, which is all in the sort of getaways, the food and wine, the indulgence type experiences that are coming along as well.
Yeah, interesting. Many businesses are using customer experience mapping techniques to better understand how customers are interacting with brands. We ourselves have been working on a concept called the Experience Barcode, where we analyse the breadth of customer engagement. Do you think that a brand can truly own the journey that a customer has?
It's this word, people keep saying, I own this, I own that. If everyone owned what they said they own, have that many parents, you wouldn't know what to do with it. So I think what you do own, genuinely own, is that moment of interaction, that moment when you are talking to the customer and the customer's talking to you. That bit you do. There was a book written years and years ago around the hotel industry called Moment of Truth, and it dealt with that notion that in a traditional hotel you have a general manager, and then you have heads of departments, and you have all these people, and eventually you end up with waiters and cleaning staff and everybody else. But that moment when a cleaner is talking to a guest, if a guest has come out and is talking to the cleaner about maybe asking a question about where the restaurant is or whatever, that moment of truth, that person is the GM. There is no more important person at that moment than that cleaner, because the customer has asked that person a question. So if we try and think about it like that, then every time that we have an interaction with that customer, that's the moment we own. Yeah. And because we know that sort of attention is the most precious commodity for us for this kind of business, we have to make that as right as we possibly can. And that's what we're focusing on. Owning the whole journey, it's too much. What I want to own is the interaction when we have it, and make that interaction the best it can be.
So I guess it's knowing where those interactions are and to be able to grab a hold of those when you can.
So mapping out that journey is absolutely important, is vital. a lot of the time people ask people to buy way too quickly without understanding where they've come from and where they're going. And so our job is to try and do a bit more pre and a bit more post with it to understand how people get there and what the surety they need. And social is an interesting one because that's really redefined how people review. I mean, you know, in the old days in hotels, you'd get a little piece of form that would come up and say, okay, was your room clean? You know, was the restaurant nice? Were the staff smiling?
Mark out of 10.
Yeah, marks out of 10. But nowadays, who fills those in? Because you just go onto TripAdvisor or one of the review sites and you start doing that, and it's real time and it's real information and it's a lot more detailed than that was before. And I think it's that sort of depth that we've got to go into now that is changing the whole way people see and review sites, products, everything.
Yeah. So you obviously think that experiences exist beyond the physical act of the experience themselves?
Yeah, I do. It's quite interesting. You know, one of the stockists we have is we also sell products. We have shoes of prey, for instance, and the excitement with where people get a box that's been wrapped up is, and oh my God, this is what I bought. It's the same for us in terms of the moment that I give you the certificate that says, "Hey, Matt, you're going to jump out of a plane in 2 weeks' time."
Yeah.
Is that like, wait a minute, because you're going to pin that up on the board and you're going to go, I've got this coming. Now, what do I need to do? What am I going to wear? Do I go training? Should I drink before I go? You know, all those kind of things. It starts to build that sort of thing, and I think what we've too often done in the past is said, here's your voucher, rather than what do we need to do in that 2 weeks, 3 months before Matt gets on that plane? Do we go to him and say, remember to take your camera, here's a few top tips, or download this for the weather, or these are things that you'd be useful to take, or by the way afterwards, or do you want to invite some friends to come along? It's that whole sort of thing, and I think we've got to get much better at that whole personalisation of that experience.
So it's kind of owning the anticipation and really understanding what the anticipation part of the process is before the experience. Do you think that there'd be different levels of anticipation, or there'd be different components in the lead up to an experience depending on what the experience was? Because obviously jumping out of a plane, you're going to have particular experiences, and maybe going for dinner you might have a different. So I just wonder.
Yes, there are, and it has to be relevant. But even if it's a dinner for two at Key or something like that versus jumping out of a plane, still that sense of emotion, anticipation and excitement. And our job is to make sure that experience is the best experience it can be. Because remember, with gifting, it's two experiences. One, it's the physical act of me giving you something. So I want to know that you're excited, because I've thought about this. I thought, you know what, Matt would love to jump out of a plane. I remember talking to him in a pub once, and we had a few beers, and he thought, top things to do. I'd like to jump out of a plane sometime. Well, I've remembered that, and I'm giving you that. And that's a precious thing, because there's as much value almost on the giver as the receiver in this, because it almost says something about you that I've remembered that conversation we had in the pub a year ago.
Matching that right gift. And I'm just imagining Matt's surprise and then fear as he opens something that says he's going to jump out of a plane or drive a car at 200 miles an hour around a racetrack. That's a great pleasure to me. So I want to try and bring it to two people, that joy and anticipation. Yep. And then I guess afterwards, the memories?
That's everything. I mean, our job is to create these lifetime of moments, these lifetime of memories for you that are really sealed in here. So how can you help capture it? Now, we're working together with our suppliers on, obviously photography, video, and little snippets, because in today's world, it's all about now and capturing it, right?
Yep.
So it's the use of social, it's the use of recording on that, and then hopefully we can get to a place where we can remind people of it, and there's something else that we can do. And I don't think it'll be too long before we aren't taking something that then uses some form of virtual reality or kind of environment whereby you can sort of put it into a sort of Oculus Rift type environment and almost recreate that experience for yourself. I mean, that'd be kind of neat that you can go back and instead of just seeing a little film of you going and jumping out of the plane,
reliving it,
and you're reliving it. So I think that's coming to it.
Well, I've got a few questions to come on that, but in the meantime, should we fence?
Let's go and do it.
All right.